Why I loved Jeremy Corbyn as leader and why I hate Keir Starmer. Full stop. I love Corbyn because he was one of the last figures on the left from the old school. People who entered politics with a genuine hope of changing something. People who read books, that went to protests on behalf of the underdog. People that fought racism and properly hated the Tories. I hate Starmer because he's none of these things. He's a careerist lawyer. He's part of the establishment. Starmer would never have risked getting arrested for protesting against apartheid, as Corbyn did. Instead, as Director of Public Prosecutions, his role in effectively imprisoning Julian Assange for life is at best murky and at worst an outrage. I loved Corbyn because he stood up to the powerful Israeli lobby on behalf of the Palestinians. Starmer, by contrast, not only embraced the Israeli push to classify all criticism of their war crimes and brutal apartheid as racism, he weaponised it to stab Corbyn and his own party in the back. I love Corbyn because he had a genuine warmth and care for ordinary people. Starmer, by contrast, looks ill at ease with people outside of the Westminster bubble. Corbyn was popular and drew large crowds because he offered the possibility of genuine change. But Starmer's Labour are riding high in the polls, primarily because he gets the softest of rides from the corporate media, and because Labour, under either Corbyn or Starmer, form part of a two-party system that forces a binary non-choice on voters. Labour have gone from being genuinely inspirational under Corbyn to being mildly the lesser of two evils under Starmer. I hate Starmer because he has nothing to say about anything of any moral import. In fact, he studiously avoids saying anything that might imply that he is left-wing, or heaven forbid, a socialist. Starmer is like Stuart Lee's comedic characterisation of Richard the Hamster Hammond, a little weasel kid at school, sucking up to the bullies so they will pick on him, laughing along with all the tropes of the corporate media, a cowardly man trapped between various forms of his own moral cowardice. Starmer is the living embodiment of fake, carefully saying nothing much in the hope that all he has to do to get elected is hang around with the bullies and look bland. This says a lot, I think, about the rotten borough of British politics, that I suspect that this is exactly what will happen at the next election. And Starmer's careerist triumph will ensure that British politics stays rotten and repels anyone with an ounce of principle from trying to clean it up. I love Corbyn because, as politicians go, he was honest. I hate Starmer because he's an outright sophist and a liar. I love Corbyn because he believed in respectful dialogue between people of opposing views, and he genuinely wanted a diverse and united Labour movement fighting the good fight against the Tories. I hate Starmer because he is a creature of toxic factionalism. He fears open discussion. He suppresses dissent. And as should be clear to all by now, he is by nature and by choice a natural Tory. I love Corbyn because he did the hard thing, sticking to his principles even when inconvenient. I hate Starmer because he is a tub of off-brand political margarine that the usual suspects with money and power can spread on their toast however they please. I love Corbyn because he briefly made Labour a movement of the people again, with a mass membership of grassroots support to fund it. I hate Starmer because he's driven that mass membership away, and now Labour is once again funded by the likes of Lord Sainsbury. I love Corbyn because he was a unique individual, so rare in British public life, a man of convictions and intellect who gave me hope for the first time in decades. I hate Starmer because he is the boot boy who crushed our hopes, and because he isn't in any way exceptional or principled. He's just the turd who chanced to float to the top of the Westminster sump tank. Any number of rats could be doing what Starmer is doing, and yet he will be lauded in the Tory press at the next election as the saviour of Labour. I love Corbyn because for a while I felt like I had a political home again. I hate Starmer because now all we have is the illusion of choice. Enjoy voting Tory or the Mo-fronted other Tories at the next election, the artist formerly known as Labour. Because thanks to the likes of Starmer, the deal is done before a vote is cast, and that is exactly what the establishment, of which Starmer is a part, wanted. The illusion of choice, so that the voter is excluded from politics forever.